Okay, thank y'all for hopping on today. I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about detox. I know it's kind of been a hot topic in our chats and helping troubleshoot with customers, and it's a very important thing for us to understand because it's something, one, that we will probably be experiencing a lot on and off again through our journey with Plexus and really just our journey with health. And two, in order to really troubleshoot with your customers, it's something you need to understand. And so, first off, when we're dealing with our products, our customers are going to probably face both detox and die off. And I just kind of wanted to go over what are those two things and what is the difference between the two. Detox is when your body is basically getting toxins out. In our diets and everything that we do through life, you're going to absorb toxins in your body. There's no way around it unless you live in a perfect bubble somewhere. And getting those toxins out of your body goes through four major pathways. There's major detox pathways that your body processes to get the toxins out. They'll go through your liver, your kidney, your lymphatic system, and your GI tract. So when you hear the word detox pathways, we're talking about those four major parts of your body. Um, so that's kind of a term that you might hear a lot. Understand your detox pathways. What does that mean? It means that your liver, your kidney, your lymphatic system, and your GI tract. So basically, that's all detox is. It's your body takes in toxins, your body gets the toxins out of your body. If you start drinking more water, your body will detox. If you start exercising, your body will detox. If you eat more vegetables, your body will detox. It's naturally happening all the time. So it's not something that's just going to magically happen when they start Plexus. This is something that anytime you make a positive health change, you're going to see. Hopefully, ideally, you never really even notice it because you're doing all the things naturally without even realizing it to support those detox pathways. Exercise, drinking water, eating fiber, those things are going to help that detox process. Die off is a little bit different. It's basically when your body is killing off the largest amount of bacteria or fungus or parasites. So candida die off is what our customers will likely be experiencing, but you can get die off just by taking an antibiotic. So you had a really bad bacterial infection and you take an antibiotic and kill off all this bacteria, and that can cause a die off reaction, or the actual like extreme term is called it's like a Jerish Herxheimer reaction. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you might see some people just talk about the Herx reaction. That's what it's referring to. It's when you're killing. We're just going to speak in candida for this call because that is what our customers are going to be experiencing this from if they do have this reaction. If you kill off large amounts of candida, which is yeast that's it's the bad yeast in your gut. If you kill all of that off, be, because it's not flushing out correctly, and because the candida that's still there alive is trying to fight back, your body can have this Herx reaction. And it is a lot more extreme than detox. A lot of times people will have like flu-like reaction. If somebody says, "Oh my gosh, can Plexus give me the flu?" They might actually be experiencing this Herx reaction. It's not as common, it's rare. Die off is common, but this extreme form of die off is not as common. But it is something to be aware of. It can happen. Especially if somebody jumps in on four probio right off the start instead of easing into it gradually, that's when you're likely to see this reaction happen. And that's why it is so important to start on our products slowly so that people don't experience these horrible things. Our goal is not for people to feel bad. Our goal is for people to feel good on our products, which that sometimes means you have to go slower to get your results. So they're not going to get those results super fast because they're going to have to be gentle with their bodies and take their time with this. So let's talk about how we treat both the die off and the detox. Both we're really kind of handling in a very similar way because even when there's die off, you do need to detox those dead things from your body. So now you have all of this dead yeast sitting in your gut. You got to get it out, which is basically you're going to it's going to go through the same pathways as the toxins are when we're trying to get them out. So both die off and detox, we're trying to get bad out of our body. So the lymphatic system is something that I feel like you're hearing people talk a lot more about than we did the early days of plexus. So it's kind of cool. I think, as we research things and as we know things, and just it's become more of a buzzword, not even outside of plexus, as people are starting to understand their lymphatic system more and more. So what is your lymphatic system and why is this important in supporting detox? So basically all it is, it's just part of your body's immune system, and it controls your fluid levels in your body, and it helps defend against infection. So the parts of your lymphatic system include your tonsils, your adenoids, your lymph nodes, your lymph vessels, your bone marrow, your spleen. This is all part of your lymphatic system. And basically, when we're putting fluid into our body, lymph means water in Latin. So basically, it's all the fluid flowing through your body, where it's flowing to, and toxins get into those fluids as they flow in. Toxins run through the lymphatic system. If your lymphatic system is not flowing correctly, toxins sit there. And that's another thing. If you're not going to the bathroom, remember the four areas they go through: your liver, your kidney, your GI tract, and your lymphatic system. So if your lymphatic system is not flowing, toxins sit there, they immediately absorb back into the bloodstream. If they sit in your GI tract because you're not pooping, all those toxins are in your poop, they will immediately absorb back into your bloodstream. And that's when people feel bad when they're detoxing. It's because those toxins that have been kind of dormant in their body, they've kind of been hidden and dormant, their body's not reacting to it, are suddenly like fresh toxins. I like to think about it. Let's say you have a room that's super dusty. You walk into it, you don't notice the dust. But if someone were to take a little duster and go around and shake the dust up, then you're going to start coughing because that dust is suddenly flared up everywhere. This is kind of similar to how the detox process is. Those toxins are just laying there, they're dormant, we don't notice it. We start to do the things to get rid of them, but we don't fully get rid of it because we're not, supporting those detox pathways. Then it's going to be like the dust is just flying all over the room. And that's when people feel bad, is when they get lots of dust flying all over the room, lots of toxins flying all through their body. Then they're going to have horrible detox reactions, and they're not going to feel well, and that is not our goal. A lot of times people with autoimmune disorders, they'll have flare-ups. They're gonna feel like you just made the problem that you told them you were gonna fix, you just made it worse. And that is what we really, really want to try to avoid. And why this piece of the puzzle is so key in getting high retention rates and good customer support. Um, so how can we prevent this from happening? So again, supporting those detox pathways. One, making sure people are going to the restroom. You definitely want to make sure before we even, that's why you'll see some people advise to start on BioCleanse for a week before you even add in ProBio 5. The reasoning for that is to make sure they're pooping regularly before you start killing off any candida. And I think it's very wise. If you have someone that's already going to the bathroom regularly, that may not be necessary. But if you do have somebody, if you have a constipated customer, don't go in starting them on a full dose of ProBio 5, or they will probably experience detox symptoms, because those toxins are not able to leave their digestive tract, their GI tract. So going to the bathroom is it's an uncomfortable thing to ask a customer. Let's be honest. No one wants to say, how's your pooping schedule going? But it is so important to know this information because it's going to affect their results, not just in their plexus products, but just in their overall health. They're going to run into this roadblock in any kind of health transformation they try to make. And so educating them and letting them know this isn't just about our plexus products. Even if you don't decide to continue on our products, this is information you need to know in the future, because you're not going to feel better until you get your GI tract moving. Water. And this is another reason why, we've been telling people and preaching people, drink half your body weight in water. But here's why this is important. Drinking that water is what makes your lymphatic system flow. Like your lymphatic system is made of water, it needs to be flowing at all times. If it is not flowing, those toxins stop there. They stop in that lymphatic system and they absorb right back into the bloodstream. Again, what we're trying to avoid. And so drinking water is important. If you look in our in our little flip book that I have made that is basically just our little guide that I like to give people. Yes, Nicole, I will answer that in just a second. Um, that I give our customers. It's on our team website. If you don't know our team website, it's just bit.ly/Plex it forward. I'll type that in the comments too. But for anyone listening to the recording, if you go to bit.ly/Plex it forward and then go to step two, just right there on the front page, go to step two. It has, get success with the products. You're going to find this product guide, this product success guide. And in the guide, I have a whole section on detox. And so when you start someone on the products, even if they're not taking ProBio 5 or Restore or any of our products that are known to cause detox, if they are starting their health journey, they need to understand that detox can happen. Even if they're just, like I said, anything that you do to improve your health is going to get the bad toxins out of your body. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. We don't want those toxins there. And so they need to understand how to support detox and things that they can do to help with this. And so I have tons of different steps on here, but one thing I really wanted to highlight was this lymphatic massage guide. So there's a whole section when you're talking to them about the lymphatic system, over how to do lymphatic massage. So signs that your lymphatic system are not flowing, one of the most number one signs is swelling. Like, is your body swelling? If you notice, if at night you're having to take your ring off, or if you're in the heat, you notice you swell, or on an airplane, there's some of these that are really common places to swell, but it's still not natural. Your body should not be swelling. And so if you are noticing swelling of extreme kinds, then your lymphatic system is really backed up. But even a little bit could be a sign that your lymphatic system is not flowing the way it should be. Other signs that it's not flowing is aches and pains. If you're having aches and pains in your joints, you maybe have fluid that is getting, held up there. Fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, that's an obvious one. That's when it's gotten a little bit too far, and usually it means you're ill and infected. Um, but these are signs that your lymphatic system is not flowing well. And if you have any of these, and even if you don't have these, it's really good to support your lymphatic system through daily massage. And so in this guide, there's a little video that you can click on that is somebody else wiser than me teaching you how to do the lymphatic massage. And then there's a little picture that shows you exactly where the points are. Super easy. You just rub in circles and then tap on the different areas that it says to do. Takes a few minutes in the morning. I don't do this daily because I'm so bad at consistency, just, my own vice. But I do advise it daily, especially if you're in the beginning of your health journey, to try to really make this a habit. I mean, I do try to make it a habit, but I'm just bad at habits. It's just my personality. Just being honest with y'all. But lymphatic massage is so good. Dry brushing is another one that is great. Dry brushing is good for detox because it does get your blood flow going and helps with the lymphatic system, but not near the same as the massage. But it also opens up your pores in your skin. Sweating is another way that your body gets toxins out. And so this is going to help you with the dry brushing, kind of helps open up those pores so that your body can sweat properly. But like I said, I go through this, I talk about lots of things, rebounding, castor oil packs, detox baths, sleep, stress management, electrolytes balance, extra eating fiber. Fiber is actually really important in the detox process because fiber is a binder. And so when the toxins are in your gut and in your system, the toxins will bind to fiber. And that fiber will also help you go to the bathroom so that those toxins are bound to it and then you poop them out. So that's why eating a high fiber diet can be really important during the detox process, and why plexus hunger control can actually help people in the beginning better than slim microbiome, because hunger control has that added fiber in it that the toxins can bind to. So just kind of a little fun fact there on that. So one thing Nicole asked was, can you explain why someone would want to work their way up to 4 ProBio and how long they should stay there on that dose? So yes, so let's kind of talk a little bit about that. So when you're starting ProBio 5, so one thing that ProBio 5 has in it is it has a digestive enzyme blend, and it has some enzymes that actually break down the cell wall of candida. So candida is a pretty hard to kill yeast, and without these enzymes to break down the wall, an antifungal doesn't always kill it. It usually doesn't do much for it. And so this enzyme is there to break down the cell wall, and then there is antifungal in our probio 5. So that enzyme combined with the antifungus helps kill off the candida. And then there's also the probiotics to add in the good bacteria. So that's what separates our probiotic versus a typical one that you're just going to grab off the store shelf. Is it's not just good bacteria, it's good bacteria and a blend to kill off the bad bacteria or the bad yeast. And so when you're killing off the bad yeast, you want to start slow so that you don't have this Herx reaction that can happen if you kill off a whole lot at once. And just a little background on candida, our bodies are born with it. There is a small amount needed because it is actually what will decompose your body when you die. You're never going to get all the candida out just because it's meant to be there. Like a little bit is meant to be there. But if you have an imbalance of it, that is when you're going to start to have, it can actually, like, it can do crazy things. There's this amazing book called Caging the Beast or Recaging the Beast, something like that. But I read it early in my Plexus career, and it's about what this candida yeast can do, and it is terrifying actually if you have too much in your body. Like, but it can basically eat through your gut lining. It is what can cause leaky gut, which can cause all kinds of autoimmune issues and allergies and all kinds of stuff. And so you definitely do not want that dysbiosis in your gut. You want it to be the balance to be the way it's supposed to be. I don't know what that exact ratio is supposed to be, but the idea is to get rid of all of the bad bacteria. The majority of us, I promise, taking too much probio 5 is not going to kill off all your candida so that your body can't decompose someday. This is not a worry you need to have, but just letting you know it is always going to be there. There's nothing you can do to get rid of all of it, and that's not the goal. Um, so probio 5 is for everyone, even if you're like, do I really need this? And what if I don't have an overgrowth? Have you ever eaten sugar in your life? If you have you ever been on an antibiotic? Have you ever been on birth control? Are you in a human environment? These are all things that actually enhance candida growth in your body. So more than likely, we all are living with somewhat of an overgrowth. Um, and so again, it just kind of goes back to not living in that perfect bubble. This is the world we live in. And so start slow, but you want to work up to more because eventually, like, you're killing off a little and they start to, like, they repopulate, right? And so you do need to, like, get your body kind of used to it, but then you're going to need to increase the kill off more and so that eventually you can get that under control. One thing about candida is it will fight back, especially if you have a large overgrowth. And by fighting back, one of the number one symptoms of knowing that your candida is trying to fight back to stay alive is you crave sugar because candida feeds on sugar. So if you start probio 5 and notice, why am I craving sugar so hard today? It is likely part of that die off process, and they're not happy about being killed off. They want to survive. They are actually living fungus, which is kind of gross to think, but there's all kinds of living bacteria inside of your body. It's actually a living fungus that wants to stay alive. It does not want to die. And so when it fights back, it craves sugar. When you start to notice sugar cravings gone, that's when you know you've found that balance in your body. Because when the sugar cravings are gone, those little funguses aren't in there screaming, feed me. So every time you consume candy, just remember you're feeding the little beast in your stomach. So keep that in mind. That's one way to, like, make you put it down. I know I have a sugar addiction sometimes, so I have to remind myself of this on a very regular basis. Um, but this is why you want to work up to 4. And how long you stay there is honestly, is you want to listen to your body. Like I said, when you start to notice sugar cravings, go away. When you start to notice if you are struggling with an autoimmune disorder, if you do start to notice symptoms, go down, you might lower it down. Some people need to stay on a higher dose forever because maybe their diets aren't perfect. Maybe they're continuing to consume things that are feeding it. Maybe, like I said, we live in Houston. Humid environments actually are more likely to, or some of us do. I live in Houston. Some of us on this call live in Houston. I know we all do that's listening to this, but it's actually shown that humid environments can actually, they breed that, interestingly, in your, I don't know how that makes a difference in your gut. I don't know if we're breathing them in more. I don't know exactly the science behind that part. Maybe I should research that. But I know that that tends to show higher candida amounts in people. Um, and so for me, I take two on a daily basis as maintenance. If I drink a glass of wine that night, I have three. If I eat candy, I may have four. It depends on what my diet was for that day. I literally change my doses based on how my day went. And so if I know that I have a day where I'm like, ooh, I am probably stirring things up in there, I'm going to take extra to keep it at bay. And so I do change my dosage on a pretty regular basis. But not everybody is going to need to work up to four. If you have a really pretty healthy customer who's coming in and they're not having sugar cravings, they're not having autoimmune issues, they're not having allergies, or they're not noticing anything that may be a sign of a massive imbalance, they can take two and stay on two. So it is definitely going to vary per person, but it's a very hands-on. This customer service within Plexus is very hands-on and understanding your customers and understanding their needs. And this whole detox process, it can feel like a lot. It really can. To help your customers walk through this. But oh my gosh, when you help them find like their testimony, that's when you're like, okay, this is worth it. This is exciting. This is fun. So hopefully this will help you help yourself and your customers as they're working through this process. Um, so basically just kind of some signs when you have your customer, you're like, how do I know if it's detox? How do I know if it's something more severe? If they're having headaches, fatigue, one of the big signs is if their symptoms that they already have are getting worse, not better. This is very much a sign of detox or die off. Muscle aches, difficulty sleeping, change in bowel movements. Some people will get constipated in the beginning instead, which is all complete opposite of what we're looking for. But this can definitely be a sign of detox. So making sure that's whenever you want to increase your BioCleanse, decrease your ProBio 5. That's always been the rule of thumb I've had with my customers. If I'll start them on one and one. If they start to have detox reactions, I will actually have them cut back to a half a capsule of ProBio 5 and two BioCleanse. That way, that BioCleanse, it does a couple things. It's going to help you go to the bathroom, which supports one of those four detox pathways that we talked about earlier, so that they can actually flush those toxins out. It also has bioflavonoids in it, which which are just basically like antioxidants, which will help get those toxins, help counteract the toxins. And then it also has some binders in it that will help, bind those toxins to it to get them out of your system. And so increasing the BioCleanse and lowering down that ProBio 5 just to lower that die off is always helpful. Increasing water is so important. And then what we know now about the lymphatic system versus what I knew in my early years of Plexus is actually another big help in helping people on that. Um, and so another thing, like I said, with that, if they're having something as severe as like a Herx reaction, they may actually have fever. Things that are not probably detox is if rashes can be a form of the Herx reaction. But if it's a rash that looks like maybe like a rash around the mouth can be an out sign of an allergy. If they're having anything anaphylactic, anything, so we want to make sure that if they're having an allergic reaction to any of our products, we're not telling them it's detox, push through it, So this is the only thing to kind of maybe like watch for. But most of the time, these symptoms are going to be detox that your customers are going to be dealing with. And this is why we want to start slow. I didn't talk about Restore at all, but Restore is actually going to be helping you detox that liver, and that reaction can be pretty strong for people. So again, for me, it was headaches. I had real bad headaches on Restore, but as a tester, they started me on 2 scoops a day, and so it was a lot. And so now I know. So now I start my customers on just a half a scoop. So make sure you're starting people slow on the Restore also, because it can be a pretty strong detox product. Um, do y'all have any questions about the detox, die off, how to help your customers? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
A lot of good info. I didn't realize that we might need to go up on the probio, which I do sometimes if I have indigestion.
Uh-huh.
And good suggestion because I still love my chocolate,
We all have
Cadbury
our vices.
preferably.
Yes. Okay, well, hopefully this was helpful. If y'all think of any other questions later, feel free to shoot them to me. I think we're always learning. Use this guide, use this customer guide so that they have it all. Like I said, the detox process is laid out for them very simple and gives them lots of different things that they can choose from to do. Some people don't want to do a lymphatic massage daily. It's probably going to be your most effective. I get it, but some people don't want to do it. But maybe they're more likely to do a detox bath or to pick something else from this list to help support that detox process. Um, but make sure that this is such a handy guide for you to give your customers so that they can do that. So Nicole said, I currently have my 9-year-old on 3 Probio 5 up from half or one, trying to clear a rash on her face. So is it eczema? Is that what she's dealing with, Nicole? If it is, just a little tip, one thing that I did with my daughter when she had eczema, I actually made a paste. I gave it to her orally, but I also made a paste of the Probio 5 with the body cream, and that actually knocked it so fast. So, um,
That's good to
the
know. Thank you. Someone else had mentioned that not long ago. I was like, maybe I should try that. But she
yes,
she had had eczema before, and it was ProBio that actually cleared it. ProBio cleared her dermatitis when she was like less than 2, and then it cleared eczema flare-ups she had when she was 4, and we've had to keep her on like at least a half of a probio, if not one, just to keep it away. And if we went off of that, or if she had too much sugar, something would come back, you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden this new thing came on her face. And so it started right around Christmas and it just was, it's not been going away for a few weeks. So anyways, yeah, it's starting to finally clear now that she's been on 3 probio for about a week or so.
yeah. So I'm glad you actually said that because it made me like think of things to ask you. And I
Okay.
wanted to actually talk about this when we're talking with our customers, questions to ask them.
hmm
Did she start anything new that like was she on an antibiotic or start any new medication that
No,
could
no, no medications.
so no changes.
Mm-mm.
Um, but
I mean,
when
if
we are
anything, maybe, oh, sorry, I was gonna say
oh,
maybe like extra sugar. I mean, she
oh
was having
yeah.
maybe around the holidays and stuff, or I can't figure out what it is that would have caused it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that holiday foods can definitely
Mm.
flare things up and take us all back to step one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, how did you mix the ProBio 5 and the body cream? Like, how much ProBio and like, because like my niece, my sister's daughter, great niece, has horrible, horrible eczema. And of course, she's on medication, she's on injections, and sometimes she'll just scratch herself raw. She does
Yeah.
a little better when my sister gets the ProBio for her when she can afford it, but
Uh-huh.
they're kind
Yeah.
of tight right
I,
now.
Alexis was a baby when I did it. But
Oh, okay.
I just did like a half a capsule of the Probio 5 and just mixed it with the body cream and just would rub it on her little bottom. And I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking like she had some eczema patches there that had been there for like 6 months and they were gone in like 4 days.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it did not come back actually. She never so
That's
it was
amazing.
pretty wild at how radically fast it helped it. Um,
Well, and the cream that came in the Glow product,
yes.
um, that worked really well for Addie. Addie could use
Oh
that.
yeah, I love that cream. I wish that was something we could get our hands back on.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, they did bring back I told the guy at the convention, I said, you guys need to make an active or something that tastes like the Glow
I
serum,
know. That was
like
good.
the. And he said, oh, the pomegranate. I said, yeah, whatever it is, that's good.
Yes. That would be good. But going back to say that, like when we're talking with our customers and someone comes to us and says, suddenly they have a change, and that's one thing we'll hear a lot is, the product stopped working for me, or maybe they're a new one and they're like, suddenly I had this health change. I mean, the number one question you need to be asking your people is, have you been on an antibiotic recently? Because antibiotics will literally it will wreak havoc in your gut, like big time. And all of the good work that you've done can just all be reversed instantly. So, number one question, have you been on an antibiotic? Second question, are you on birth control? Birth control can also greatly affect it. And so if this is newly added birth control, it's not just affecting your hormones, it really can affect your gut. So or any other medication, ask them if they started anything new, because this really can be pieces of understanding their health journey. And I mean, not necessarily saying get off of it and don't do that, but it's just important to know so that we can help support them and they can see that Plexus didn't stop working. It was that, these new things were added. That's just an added challenge. And now we're going to have to change things up a little bit. So that was something I wanted to add and I forgot to say. But any other thoughts or questions? I do really love this topic. Well, thank y'all for hopping on with me today, and I hope y'all have a great week. And we'll see you next Monday. Bye, guys.